Donna Eves. I'm the communications coordinator for the Calfee Community and Cultural Center. For the month of March, we will be highlighting inspirational women, and today I am joined by two wonderful women, instructor Bonnie Graham and Miss Jennifer Henderson. Instructor Graham, if you could start, and thank you so much for being here today. If you could start with just a quick introduction to your background, and we'll go from there.
Thank you for interviewing me. I have been in education for 38 years. I've tried to keep some side gigs, working actually in the classroom with children and students or youth over those 38 years, but most of those experiences full-time have been in college education or training teachers. My first professional job was at Pulaski County High School, and I taught there for 15 years in child care and parenting education. My current job is at New River Community College, and I'm a professor and program head of human services and early childhood. And my work in human services has been in parenting, with things like court-ordered parenting, developing curriculum, and doing research in the impact of deployment on and how to parent through deployment with military families. And my focus in early childhood has been mostly on nurturing teachers through child development programs such as laboratory schools at both the high school and college level.
Okay, and so it sounds like you have a lot of awesome experience that you bring to the Calfee Community and Cultural Center and to the community as a whole. So that leaves me with a follow-up question. So you mentioned your background. So how does that translate into what you're doing at Calfee? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. My work at Calfee has been mostly representing the child care aspect of the project. The hopes and dreams is that there would be a child care center there to serve a need where Pulaski County has been identified in Pulaski too as a child care desert. And one of the major pieces of that is trying to ensure high quality care for children. And so a piece of that is to try to build on the strong legacy and history of Calfee. Most people that I talk to and have heard from that went to Calfee or their family was a part of Calfee talk fondly of their memories and the relationships that they had there with the teachers and the staff that work there. And so to recreate that healthy educational environment for children is extremely important to me, and I think it is to most people on the Calfee board.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we appreciate having you on. I know from working with you in the past that you always have a lot of really awesome feedback that you provide to the board. So we're glad to have you on. Um, And so let me take it back to a little bit of some of your community-based experience. I am just curious, do you have any other experience that you are involved in the committee? Are you going to different committees? Do you do any of the like YMCA meetings that happen in the area? Anything like that?
Yes, I do serve on quite a few child care committees and other projects that are supporting the healthy growth and development of not only individuals, but families, and just building strong communities that support the growth of people. I serve on the YMCA Child Care Board and several other child care committees in the area, and projects that the board, some are more temporary projects that the board needs input on, and I'm happy to serve on those committees too.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a lot going on. So that leaves me with my next question, which is, what hobbies do you enjoy? What do you do to relax?
That's kind of odd question, not odd on your part, but odd for me to try to answer, because my family would tell you that I don't have any hobbies. And they are probably right in the traditional sense of what a hobby is. There are many things I like and enjoy. Um, Whether they're called hobbies or not, I don't know, but I spend an awful lot of time doing them and working on them and thinking about them. And so I guess my first hobby would be child development and human development. It's such a complex science, and I've always been intrigued by it. Um, and so that's important to me. A second aspect of my life that's recent, not recent like in the last 2 or 3 days, but recent in the last several years, is I grew up on a farm as a child and spent most of my time outside, but my time outside was always working. And so I've grown to have a strong appreciation for the role that nature plays in the growth and development of people. And I think it's come to even more light during this time that we are being so isolated and the importance of being able to get outside. And so outside in nature and the impact it has on the health and wellness of children and families is extremely important to me. And I've enjoyed investigating and studying it and figuring out how do we nurture children and families through capitalizing on the natural beauty of the area.
Okay. So that leaves me into my next question. I have a follow-up question going off of what you said. So you talked a little bit about some of the nature that really draws you in. Would you say that that's one of your future hopes for the facility with our play space?
Absolutely. Again, I did not go to Calfee, but I have visited there quite a few times working on this initiative, and I'm just really excited about the just the beautiful surrounding area that Calfee is situated in, and how to help children and families and the community benefit from that. So that is one piece that I think is very hopeful. Um, a second area that I think is hopeful for Calfee is just the quality, being a part of providing a quality care and education for children to meet that high need, not only to address the issue of the child care desert, but the issue of quality. It's believed by many, and some people would even estimate 90% of a child's or a person's brain architecture is developed before they're 5 years old. And so, not just what they learn, but the actual architecture, the pathways, the foundation of their mental growth and development is established before 5. And so those years are very important. And we as a community, I'm just excited that we as a community are wanting to invest in that growth and development period of children, and for CAFI to be a part of that and to be a leader in that. They've always been a leader in education, and to recognize CAFI's role in doing that for children and families is just exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. And I'm glad you touched on that. I know for myself, even having a minimal background in human services compared to your portfolio, I know that sometimes I definitely did not know what a natural outdoor play space was up until I got involved in this project. So I definitely agree with you there. So that leaves me with my final two questions, Dr. Graham, or Instructor Graham, excuse me, is what advice do you have as an accomplished professional for yourself? What advice would you give to young women coming up in the workforce, if any?
Gosh, I'm a quote person. And so I just cling. And when I hear people quotes, or other people's sayings and words, I want to write it down. I have a folder of meaningful quotes in my office that's just packed full of important things to remember. And I try to live by them, but I fall short quite often. So I have a few, if that's okay.
Yeah.
One is for people to understand that you should never underestimate the power of one person or one small act, and the impact that it can have on yourself and on others. That impact trickles and multiplies exponentially. And sometimes we never even realize that we've made that impact. So realize the importance and worth of your life is one piece of advice I would have for future generations or other people. A second thing is to be kind and to look for the good. We are not perfect. None of us are perfect. And I think sometimes we, in my parenting and in my teaching, you're constantly striving for everybody to get an A and to do everything right and to be their best. And sometimes I wonder when somebody says to me, all I expect is for you to be your best. And I'm like, so what is my best? It seems like when I get to my best, there's always a best that's beyond it. And that's a good thing, but it also can be very challenging for people. So just be good, be kind. And that leads me to a second one is, again, I said earlier that I was raised on a farm. And so I believe that hard work is important. I think idle minds get in trouble. And so I think it's important to stay engaged and involved and busy and find your passion, find the work that you're going to work on, and that you're going to be make a difference. Um, and enjoy that journey, and see it as a process as opposed to an event that you're trying to strive for, that it's a journey or a process. And then the last thing is to take good care of yourself. We've all heard that you can't give away something you don't have, or you can't, you can't, you need to put your mask and oxygen on first before you can put the mask and oxygen on to help other people, even if it's children or people that are suffering more than you are. But you do need to take good care of yourself so that you can continue to serve others.
That was very powerful. Thank you so much. Jennifer, did you have any follow-up questions that you would like to ask?
Um, how has the working with children affected you to want to work with the community as well?
I tell people that not only living with children, but I have two children of my own. And so, in fact, those are the highlights of my achievements is, my faith. I'm a tortoise and not a hare. I'm slow and steady, but I don't give up. I'm very determined. Sometimes my family calls it stubborn, but I would like to see it as determined and slow and steady. And I just keep working hard at things. So my faith is a highlight. And of course, my family, as you mentioned, living with children. And one of the things I can say that my personal children, as well as my college students and my high school students, when they ask why or when they ask questions, it just makes me think harder and better and more critically. And so I love being engaged with people about the questions. And so one of the things that I have gained from children and being with children across many ages is that they've helped me be a better thinker. And not that I'm a perfect thinker, but I love thinking with people about human stuff. And so I'm excited to think with Calfee about how can we better serve Pulaski and the people that live there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this interview today. Thank you so much for hopping on this live session with us. We truly, truly appreciate your time and any energy that you've given to the project and to the community as a whole. Folks, stay tuned in. We will be launching some more series later down the line. So thank you. Goodbye.